During one of the biggest college football days of the year, I am recording a old or a simulation of a classic, not even of a classic baseball game, but a game between two separate seasons. So that's where I'm at in my life right now. But I am on game three of the all-time World Series, trying to determine the all-time champion between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Arizona Diamondbacks of 2017 and the Arizona Diamondbacks of 1943. We kind of talked about what the preview is for this game. It is not Taiwan. Actually, no, it was Taiwan Walker versus Harry Christ in Game 3. Maybe I read it wrong because it's actually listed as Zach Greinke versus Harry Breachin. So this is a pretty much a toss-up game. So I would say this is a big game for Arizona to win with Taiwan Walker going against Chris next game. If uh, if the Cardinals are able to get this one, then they have the pitching advantage in Game 4, and they could really take control of the series. Zach Greinke, obviously, he looks like he's heading for Cooperstown in real life, and he has had a great career. And this season, he was age 34, still a very good pitcher. This is when he was with Arizona. He did end up going to, I believe, Houston after this. Can't remember if there's a team in between. Harry Brecheen. I don't know how to pronounce that. I should look into that, but Brecheen, maybe. I believe he was probably the best pitcher on the Cardinals. Maybe not at this point, maybe later on down the line. I know he was a pretty solid pitcher. He was only 9-6 with 135 inning pitches. He actually had 4 saves his year in 1943, so they used him both as a bullpen pitcher and a starter. And this is actually his first full season, as if you look at his stats here, he had 1940 and 1943. This could be inaccurate, though, because the all-time stats are a little screwy with these, little wonky with these throwback teams, at least in this mode. In the actual franchise, I believe they're a little bit more fixed. If not, I can always look into that a little bit more on Baseball Reference and see what their career path was and see if that is correct. But as of right now, we're going to play game three. Pretty much the same lineup going for the Cardinals, if I remember everything correctly. And I do seem to be getting a little bit more of a grasp, but this is pretty much exactly what the Cardinals had last game. Walker Cooper is the starting catcher for the team. Um, I wonder if Cooper actually plays a different position. No, he doesn't. I don't know why Ken O'Day has been playing as well for them. Maybe it was in a previous series. I noticed that because when there was a DH in effect, I'm not sure. No, that wouldn't have made sense either because there's been no DH in effect this whole series. Ken O'Day's definitely started games though, and so that confuses me. Maybe Ken O'Day plays. Let me look into that too. Let me look at the Cardinals. Okay, so Ken O'Day, he's only listed as the catcher too. I don't know. Not sure why. Maybe Walker Cooper was tired, or I'm not sure. I don't have injuries on, so it could have been that. If it happens again, I'll look into it a little bit closer. But anyways, pretty much the same lineups going. Game three going on. We are now in St. Louis. So what I'm going to do is go TV Sepia. Not that these games are fully televised in 1943. At least I don't believe they would have been, but there were definitely clips that were sent to the troops as World War II had started. And I'm going to try to capture at least a feel of what those look like, because we'll do a little bit of escapism. So we're going to be TV sepia, so it's going to be more of a black and white, almost like the color of a Game Boy, the old school Game Boy, if you're familiar with that, is pretty much what it's going to look like, or like the newsreels from like the 40s that you would see in the movie theaters back in the day. So it's going to be that kind of color. I'm going to go above the plate for the cameras. And the reason why is because if you watch those footage, the old behind the pitcher camera angle did not really exist. Then they probably just didn't have the ability to move cameras like that, and that's just how they ended up shooting baseball. So it was a lot of different unique angles. And I'm just gonna go above home plate. I'm not even sure if that camera usage was used yet, but I'm gonna use that angle for this because that's the one I've been using for these types of games. So we're gonna go into the game. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to tell what team is what because there is no color. Um, the little avatars here will stay the same, so you at least have that going on, and then you'll have the same in the field. You'll at least be able to tell this way. But we're in the top of the first. You can still kind of see Arizona's weird outline on the jerseys that they had back then, but obviously color-wise it's going to look a little bit different. So here we are, 1943, watching the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks play 1990 style baseball. The first batter is Pollock, and he draws a leadoff walk with a runner on first. He's going to try to steal now, and he's going to make it. So a good, quick little start here for the Diamondbacks as they try to jump out into a lead. That is going to be strike 3 to David Peralta. This has to be a little weird for these fans here in 1943, considering the Arizona Diamondbacks don't exist until 1998. So 45 years until the Arizona Diamondbacks franchise even exists as a team. In fact, the state of Arizona has been a state maybe for 40 years, 50 years at this point. So it's a very young state. It would have been kind of interesting if they were playing in the heat of Arizona in the desert, though then again, St. Louis can get really, really hot too, especially in the summertime when there's higher humidity. So I guess heat's not something they're completely unfamiliar with. It's just kind of a unique little matchup as there is a team that doesn't exist playing against a team that has been around forever, or been around a long time. So that's just kind of an interesting little twist in this matchup. JD Martinez, a chance to give him the lead. He does line one to right field, and a run will come around and score. Or actually, no, it will not. They hold him up. So first and third, one out, a big time at bat here. He's going to ground to second. I think it's going to be a double play to get out of the inning, and it is. So a huge double play keeps the Diamondbacks off the board. A good chance to get a lead early goes by the wayside. So very, very, very disappointing start there for the Diamondbacks, who had a chance to jump out to a lead. Lou Klein now, he flies to right field. If this plays the same as the first two games, we're going to see the Cardinals get out twice and then homer on the third at bat of the game. Ray Sanders, well, there you go. First two outs. Let's see if they homer on the first at bat again, because that would be kind of strange. 1-2 count to Walker Cooper against Greinke. Nope, he strikes out instead. So 1-2-3 inning. Neither team scores in the first. Jake Lamb now batting, trying to get something going here. He will ground to second. One away. Brandon Drury now up. 3-1 count. Let's see what he does here. He will ground to second. And with Nick Ahmed at the plate, a 1-2 count, he is also going to strike out. So far, pretty good pitching matchup has lived up to it, but it's early here. Not much to really gather here, but so far so good as far as pitching goes. Stan Musial against Greinke, pretty good matchup there. He's going to line a single to left field. Whitey Kurowski, he is going to, on the first pitch, actually it's going to be a stolen base, so another stolen base. So each team has a steal this game. Seeing that a little bit more than we've really seen so far in this series, a lot more stolen bases. Not that there's been zero, but using that aspect of the game is a little bit more implemented here. So with a man on second and nobody out, let's see if the Cardinals can get a run on the board. And that's going to be a fly ball to center. The catch is going to be made. So that's a big out to get the first out with the guy still on second base. Danny Litweiler, he's going to draw a walk first and second with one out. Debs Garms at the plate. That's going to get through. It's a single up the middle. Will they send him to take the lead? Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be late. It is now 1-0, and every single runner advances. So that is a big base hit for Garms, and the Arizona Diamondbacks lead, or the St. Louis Cardinals lead 1-0 early on. Marty Marion can add on. He's got a 1-2 count. He will just pop up. So with the pitcher at the plate, facing Zach Greinke, big chance to get out of this without too much damage, but a 1-0 lead still nevertheless. 3-2 count. He swings and misses strike 3, so he gets out of the inning with just one run allowed. Jeff Mathis will ground to third. Zach Greinke, he will, I think he's going to get himself an infield single here. So for the first base runner since the first inning for Arizona. So a little short stretch of not really doing too much at the plate, but nothing crazy. We now have Pollock as a second at bat. He's going to ground into a double play. That will end the inning. So good pitching so far for Brasheen. Klein now for his second at bat as we're going to the second time in the lineup here. He's going to draw the leadoff walk. Ray Sanders with a 2-2 count is going to rip a single to right field, and now the Cardinals are in business this inning. It's going to be first and third with nobody out. Cooper's going to ground to second, and only play is going to be at first base, so the run does come to score. One thing I've been noticing is the Cardinals are taking advantage of JD Martinez in right. No error this time, but they still were able to advance on the single to right field. So with that, you can kind of see what the thought process is. I'm going to look at JD Martinez, and yeah, his defense is a 45. Let's see if it shows his outfield arm on the screen. 45. So the Cardinals are definitely taking advantage of that. Not a great defensive player out there, JD Martinez. Obviously good with the bat and a very good hitter, but a bit of a liability. And you're seeing the liability on defense hurting the Diamondbacks so far this series. And I think that was a big difference in the last game. I think it's been a difference so far in this game, even though it hasn't been like a major error or anything of that nature. There was just a strikeout by Stan Musial. Whitey Kurowski is going to get a hold of one and hit one deep to left, but it's going to be caught. So 2-0 right now is your score. And with Brashim pitching well, you really, really, really want to either get to him now if you're the Diamondbacks, or you got to start to hold this thing close. Actually, JD Martinez, speak of the devil, he's going to get a hold of one opposite field power. Gets a hold of one to right, and that ball is gone. By the way, we're playing in Sportsman Park in St. Louis, so this is pre-Busch Stadium. So a unique ballpark that you don't see anymore. This place has been gone, I believe, since the 50s. I think the Busch Stadium opened up the original Busch opened up in the 60s, early 60s, but I'm not sure the exact year. So Sportsman Park, which is a park that's been a while for quite some time. The St. Louis Browns also played here, who were the American League version, now the Baltimore Orioles. And so these two teams actually met in the World Series, I want to say in 1944. So the whole series was actually played in this stadium, which you would not see today. There are a few other instances of teams sharing stadiums. The Angels and Dodgers did for a little while, and I think that's the only one in recent years, and even that was in the 60s. That wasn't like that recently. You've seen sometimes a team use another ballpark for like during bad weather events or something along those lines. Like you have seen like the Cubs played in Milwaukee against the Astros, but that was about 15 years ago. You've seen it in other ballparks too. I think the White Sox park has hosted some random games, but the complete sharing of stadiums, that's kind of a thing that I don't think we've seen in a long time. At least in baseball. We've seen it in basketball, we've seen it in football. In football it still actually happens with the Jets and the Giants. But in baseball it's been quite some time since two teams have shared a stadium. So that's just a little interesting thing. Goldschmidt is going to line a single up the middle. So the offense has come to life here for the Diamondbacks in the fourth. The strong right-handed lineup has really, really could be advantageous to the Diamondbacks, and they kind of showed it in this inning. They hadn't yet, but they are showing it this inning. And Drury, he flies one to the left, so Goldschmidt has an advance beyond first with his, but he's going to steal another bag. So a lot of steals this game. That's the third steal of this game. The strategy we're kind of seeing enacted a little bit more this game. But with that, Nick Ahmed strikes out, and the inning does come to a close right there. We're in the bottom of the fourth, and there's going to be a single by Danny Litweiler. So the leadoff runner on again for the Cardinals. Zach Greinke, who is obviously a good pitcher, is struggling, and now a great defensive first base, but pitcher makes a mistake on the bunt. He throws wide of first base, and everybody's safe. So a rare miscue by Zach Greinke. A great defensive pitcher, but in that situation, he needed to make the play, and he does not. So this is now a dangerous situation. First and second, nobody out, and now Marion's going to line one to left for a single, and they are going to send him home. And it's going to be a bad throw to the plate, and a run's going to come around to score. It's going to be 3-2, and everybody moves up. So 2 errors this inning now for the Diamondbacks. And as stated before, the defense is a problem. Granted, Peralta is a good defender, and he has good arm. So again, guys who are normally sure-handed are now making the mistakes. Last game, it was guys who were in tough positions who are not great defenders making the errors. This time it's the guys who are good at defense making mistakes. That certainly can't happen in the series if the Diamondbacks are going to pull this off. With the infield drawn in, Brasheen does ground to first, so they do escape a little bit more damage on that out. Luke Line, this is a big batter here with one out, and that's a fly ball to left. It's deep enough. No, it's actually going to be a base hit. It's going to drop in front of the left fielder, so 4-2 now as the run scores. Still one out, first and third. Ray Sanders up, and he can really start to put this thing into a troublesome space. Instead, he hits into a double play, so not as bad as it could be considering the two errors, but again, defense handing runs to the Diamondbacks has been a massive problem this series so far. And the Diamondbacks are going to have to overcome that. And you can't give outs to teams like this. It's just going to be really, really tough. Greinke, who actually has a single this game, grounds to second. And Jeff Mathis lined to shortstop for the first out of the inning. So 2 outs after allowing the lead to get away, not really able to flip the momentum at all. And now it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning as Pollock is going to fly to, pop up on the infield. So the bottom 5th, here we go. Arizona is kind of giving this game away a little bit. A fly ball to center in is an out. Stan Musial he's actually going to hit a single. And the defense, what's frustrating about it is it does feel like this is more of an even game than 4-2, but because bad defense happened by Arizona, they're losing this game. And the Cardinals can turn on their offense at any time, and if they can just start hitting naturally, and you're in a position where you're already losing, that could be problematic. And here they go. They just rip a double down the left field line. It's either going to be second and third, or a run could actually come around and score. They're going to hold them up. So second and third with one out. Kurowski was the one who just doubled. Danny Litweiler can give more of a cushion, and he does hit a single. 1-run scores, 2-run scores, making it 6-2. Greinke is even more trouble. You know, the defense, he actually has 5 earned runs. It feels like he should have less, but there are 5 earned runs. So the Cardinals are actually hitting a little bit better than it appears, despite the bad defense too. So a little bit of combination of both, but either way, tough to stay in a game with that. Those two combinations going against you. Arms is going to hit into double play, which will end the inning, but again, the Cardinals add on. This is actually the 4th straight inning they've scored. Top of the 6th, Peralta up. He's going to draw the walk. Martinez, who does have a homer, can get him back into this game. And he does hit one pretty decent to center, but it's not decent enough. And if you look, it's 422 to center. You got to hit one pretty hard to get it out of there. Goldschmidt, he will hit one, and he does hit one pretty hard. That's not going to get out of the park, but it is going to go to the gap. And animations are weird in this game, so that doesn't necessarily mean it was into that 422 gap. Which it probably, if it was in real life, that probably would have scored a run. But it is second and third with only 1 out. If Jake Lamb can get a base hit here, the Diamondbacks are right back in this game. He does hit one to the pitcher, so a run cannot score. Drury needs a big hit for this team, but with 2 strikes, and he's going to ground to third. No balls, 2 strikes, grounds to third to end the inning. So no run score after that great situation. Marion's going to strike out. First batter of the inning. Brasheen, he's going to strike out. Klein is also, with the 3-2 count, going to rip one to right. So he's going to get himself a single, his second hit of the day. Sanders, who also has a hit, is now facing Fernando Rodney, who's come in to pitch for Greinke. He does draw a walk. Cooper can really, really make this a 5-run game and make this a tough comeback, but instead he's going to pop up to second. So no guarantee of runs, and they're going to be an out there. So despite the 10 hits, the 2 errors, it's only a 6-2 game. Not impossible to come back from this thing. Top of the 7th, Nick Ahmed has an advantageous count, but instead of taking advantage of that, hits one to left field. And Jeff Mathis is going to do the same thing. He's going to hit one to left, and it's going to be caught by Litweiler, which does seem like it was a decent enough grab, one-handed catch. Chris Owings, he's going to hit one to center, and that'll be a catch. So 1-2-3 inning for the Diamondbacks, who need to start getting some runs. We're now in the bottom of the seventh. Gonna have a leadoff walk to Musial. Kurowski. Also a 3-2 count. It's gonna be a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Oh, that's a pretty big play there to keep the Cardinals off the board, most likely. Litweiler does get an opportunity to extend the inning, though, but he does not take advantage, and he flies to center. So we are now in the 8th inning. Arizona needs to get a rally going if they're going to get this game. Pollock is going to ground to third. Nice play by Kurowski, as it does look like the Cardinals are now guarding the lines here as it is late in the game. Peralta with a 2-2 count strikes out swinging. JD Martinez with 2 out and nobody on, 1-2 count. He strikes out swinging. Brasheen has pitched pretty well this game, and it is now the 8th inning. The Diamondbacks are going to have one more shot at tying this thing up, but let's see if the Cardinals can add on or if it's going to be 4 runs. Not a bad situation to be in if you are the Cardinals, though. A fly out to left for the first out. Marion's going to rip another single to left field, and that actually might be 2. Just based upon where the defender is, that's actually going to be a double. So another good base hit. Peralta not having the greatest defensive game in left field, although it's hard to say. Again, the animations are weird. Just because he fielded on the normal grounder and it looked like a single doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what played out, because of the way the animations do play out. But either way, Marty Marion's on second base, and he strikes out swinging. Walker, who is pinch hitting. It was Herb Walker, I believe his name is. Harry Walker. Harry Walker pinch hit for Brasheen and struck out. I'm kind of surprised Brasheen didn't get a chance to close this game out, but they're going to bring in somebody else. Luke Klein, 2-2 pitch, will strike out. So we move to the top of the 9th inning. Murray Dixon is now to pitch for the Cardinals. And Paul Goldschmidt with a 3-0 count will draw a leadoff walk. So a little bit of life here for Arizona as they try to battle back. Jake Lamb, he's going to rip one to left field for the catch. Ionetta now is pinch hitting for the Cardinals. I do believe there's a double switch in place, so Ionetta is now pinch hitting for Rodney. I believe Chris Owings goes into second. This is the exact same move they made last game. Let's see what he can do. He's going to ground to third, and that is going to be just 1 out. So Goldschmidt does advance to second, but there are 2 outs. Still a 4-point game, or 4-run game. Arizona down their last out here. And Ahmed will pop up. It looks like the St. Louis Cardinals are taking a 2-1 series lead in the All-Time World Series, and that's exactly what they do. And now all the players congregate, and they do a couple jumps in the air because this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to them. They're so excited, and a couple more guys run in. They got to get their jumps in, and now here we are. Now they're just going to stand still and stare at each other as this game is over. So the St. Louis Cardinals from 1943 now lead this series 2-1. They are 2 games away, 2 wins away from clinching the all-time World Series and being the all-time World Series champion. That's it for this one. Let's exit the screen, see if there's anything more that needs to be said. Not really. Here's the box score if you're interested. Again, flow chart, score by score breakdown, or inning by inning breakdown, and quick box score if you're really interested in looking at the box score. I'll just scroll up and down. Here's that here, and that's it. 2-1 series lead. We will have the next one whenever we do. Also in St. Louis, that game will be Taijuan Walker versus Howie Christ, and that's the one I was thinking is going to be a big time game for the Cardinals. If they're able to steal that one, might actually just be series over because of the pitching matchup, and the rest of the pitching matchups are more toss-ups. It's going to be really tough for Arizona to win the series. If they don't win a pitching matchup, that's not very advantageous to them. So we'll see what happens there. Other than that, that is it.